You are listening to The Ben Keech Show, where every day the objective is simple. Ben will never stop fighting the fight and lighting the light on topics that affect you every day.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, dogs and cats, and all the little critters that are out there watching today. My name is Ben Keech, and you are tuned in to the 34th episode of The Ben Keech Show. What's your favorite episode? What's resonated with you during these things? I want to know those things. I love it. If you don't follow me on Instagram, or maybe your son or daughter doesn't, have them follow me on Instagram. Have them follow me on TikTok. I would be curious if there is any time that something has been said or any level of impact. I want to know that. So today's topic is going to be something that we all think about. We all deal with it. It affects all of us. And the problem that we are looking to solve today in episode 34 is fixing unhappy people. Fixing unhappy people. Well, how the heck do you do that? The goal of life isn't even just to be happy. We're not always going to be happy. So what does this even mean to be unhappy and to fix it? And is that even an achievable goal? Is that worth it? I mean, we have some school of thoughts that everything that we should be doing in our life is to make ourselves happy. I don't subscribe to that. I think there's all sorts of things I should be doing with my life that may not make me happy, but it's the right thing or what I should be doing. So happiness is kind of there's new age ways to look at happiness, but are there things that we can do to bring more joy to ourselves? And so this is what we're going to get into. So it should be an interesting episode, to say the least. So let's get into it, because we are ready to roll today, folks. So fixing unhappy people. That's the kind of the problem that we're looking to solve. So what do people that are unhappy do? And when I'm telling you these things, I would like for you to also consider the teenagers in your life and the young people in your life. Whether you agree or no or not, there's a lot of kids out there that are lonely, really seriously lonely, not connected. COVID did no one favors when it came to this reality. But unfortunately, we as adults and parents kind of allow our children to disappear into their own world. And we have to be intentional and engage. So the first thing that we want to do when it comes to fixing unhappy people, we really don't want to see our spouse in this place, is what they do is they isolate themselves. So they're not connected with their family. They're not connected with others. When that happens, there's an unhappiness that's going on. We are meant and created for connection. When we don't connect, it's not just because we're an introvert. It's not just because everybody in the world sucks. What's going on is there's some level of sadness or depression even, where we get ourselves away from people. It's not good. As parents, what we need to do is we need to forcibly engage ourselves in our kids' lives. We ask them questions. We have conversations. We also give them space. It doesn't mean that we're annoying about it, even if it appears that there's some level of annoyance. We see this happen far too often with men. When men stop leading, when men can't deal with the things that are hurting them in their life and they don't know how to articulate it, it's not compartmentalized in a positive way, they withdraw every single time. They disconnect and stay in their own place in the world. And when you see that, it's not good. It's not good. The other thing that we see with unhappy people is they're always waiting for their future. Always waiting for their future. Future's now. What do you want to do? Then you need to be taking action steps this very moment. People that are waiting for their future, it never arrives in the way that it could be. We don't want to do that. Number 3, people that are unhappy are always blaming other people. It's always other people's problems. It's this, it's that. It's not, they don't even look at themselves accurately in a mirror. It's just there's always these things. And it's not that there's not truth in those things. But the blaming mentality will lead you to a place of unhappiness. Controlling. People that aren't happy, try to control other people in ways that are ridiculous. Oh my goodness, the stories that I've heard about this. Just horrible stories on how people are controlled. And the thing is, in a marriage, the sad part about this is there could be a female who's fighting and wanting her marriage to work and doing all these things, but she'll allow herself to be controlled in unhealthy ways because we have to, this marriage has to work. Like my life and the line, our children and all of these things. People that are in happy control, people that are content and happy, they may control themselves, but their objective isn't to control people around them. As a matter of fact, it's a much truer representation on the state of a mind and where somebody is when they're not controlled and they're allowed to make their own decisions. And when their decisions are their decisions, then you see exactly what's going on in someone's heart and mind. Next, people who are unhappy are always critical, always judging, just always pointing the finger. There's a negativity kind of spews out of their soul, and who wants to be around that? They complain, and they're also not present in the present. People who are unhappy are stuck in their past, or or there's anxiousness about their future, but they're not living in that moment, in their present, which can be a beautiful place. Let me give you a couple of examples on this. It's kind of interesting. So I'm going to say this statement. No amount of guilt can change the past. No amount of guilt can change the past. Okay? We have to accept our past. But let's attach this to something else a little bit outside of even, say, relationships. Let's look at racism, sexism. You can look at relationships as well. No amount of guilt can change the past. The past is done. The past has happened. Whatever horrendous thing that we've done, when I say we, people have done to other people in our country, whatever that is, do you know what the healthy way? This is why some people always seem so unhappy. There's certain people in our country that almost want us to always be racist with the verbiage that they use. Do you know the answer to racism? Do you know the answer to blatant sexism and things that have happened before? It's the answer to all of it. The answer is always the same regardless of the sin. It's forgiveness. It's grace. These are always the lessons of it. Well, now wait a second now. We're going to forgive these people. We're going to because if we do that, then we're excusing it some way. We're justifying it. We're giving people an out. Okay. Let's take that same logic and let's apply it to your relationships. So your spouse does something wrong to you. Whatever that is, however severe or not, your spouse does something wrong to you. What's the answer? Well, we need to acknowledge sin. Okay. For if she does that to me, it doesn't even matter if she asks for it. It definitely doesn't matter if we deserve it. I don't know if anybody of us always deserve it, whatever that even means. I have to forgive. I have to provide grace. Do you know what that does for my conscience, for my mind, for my own mental health? When these sins of our past, even racism, when these things stay, the bitterness and the contempt and the burden that has on me as a person, like I can't shake it. I'm going to be angry. I'm going to be hateful, resentful. I'm going to blame. Guess what? I'm going to do all the things unhealthy people do. Now say it again. If I don't approach a topic, I don't care what it is. I don't care how bad it was. I don't care if Adolf Hitler's a part of this conversation. If I approach any of these things with all of these unhealthy things that people, how they cope with being happy or unhappy, I'm digging my own grave. I'm burying my own self. I'm becoming a lesser version of myself by doing that. See, again, some politicians want to stop. None of this is being said. I'm not hearing any politicians. We're not racist. We are racist. We're all the things that we all hear, right? Okay. Well, guess what? Whatever level of racist you are, 1%, 99%, I'm going to love you anyway. I'm going to forgive you. Even if it's something that's done to me. I'm going to show you grace. It's been shown to me in times where I haven't deserved it. And do you know what that does for relationships? Now go back to your relationships. What does that do for a relationship? It's humble. It's very pure. It's very true. You're not excusing bad behavior, but you're deciding how you're going to respond to bad behavior. And unfortunately, for political gain, we take, even when it comes to racism, even when it comes to these things we talk about in our society, what bad people have done in the past, we're not going to attach it to that. No. They don't deserve that. Yes, they do. They actually do. You don't think the hearts can't be changed? You're telling me, I've witnessed people from their 20s to their 40s to their 80s. I've seen people do change, actually. People's hearts can change. How does that happen? By pointing the finger and yelling and screaming and name calling and all the things that we see people do? No. People change through what I'm talking about. But that has to be a part of our mentality. It has to be how we treat all people in all situations. It does not mean that you're in some type of abusive relationship, that you just take it. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about forgiveness has to be a part of it. For you, and even for them. I've seen it too many. You guys know the story. You've heard the stories about these dramatic changes that human beings can go through. Okay, we're gonna kind of twist here. Here's a cool quote to kind of end this. And I'll make sure you understand this one part about the future. No amount of, because I was on a thing there. No amount of anxiety can change the future. Live in the present. A very famous Mark Twain quote that I think many of you have heard. Worrying is like paying a debt you don't owe. Worrying is like paying a debt you don't owe. So happiness is connected with our present and our perspective on our present. Okay, we're gonna move on to kind of a different. Well, how do we increase happiness? How do we increase happiness? What does this all look like? Okay, and I think it's kind of an interesting thing. So let's first, don't obsess over things you can't control. Don't obsess over things you can't control. Your child who gets cut from the baseball team, you can't control that. Now your son could have worked harder or whatever, but we can't control it. Hey, guess what? I'm going to talk to them when you love baseball, son. This is your favorite sport. You want to play as long as you can, right? Okay, we got to work hard. But ultimately, you don't get to make that decision. Other people are going to make that decision for you. So do your best and control what you can control. But no, you can't control what other people do. Whatever right or wrong is about that. Always believe the best is yet to come. We've recently kind of tipped over to a new year. The best is yet to come. That's my mentality. Glass half full, not empty. When we process and look at our lives this way, it really can. I actually believe that. I believe that this thing can happen. But to do that, to increase my happiness, I really need to surround myself with good people. People with the same goals, people that are going to motivate me, not people that are going to bring me down, not people who don't believe in me. I want people in my life that like, holy cow, you can do this. People that build me up, people that are doing their own things with their life. Like, oh my gosh, I want to work as hard as you're working. This matters for our kids. This matters as adults. We can all fall into friend groups that take us down a road that's not the best for us. Be very, very intentional about your friend groups, always. Not just for the 14-year-old, but it matters just the same for the 54-year-old. Appreciate life's little blessings and treasures. Be amazed at the beauty of creation, at the beauty of, Don't negate those things. Happiness comes from the ability to appreciate and see what's truly amazing and acknowledge that with actual words. Stay positive. Bad things are going to happen. It happens to all of us. We're going to get speeding tickets. There's going to be annoying people. People are going to flip us off. Bad thing. You're going to get fired from a job. Bad things will happen. Stay positive. Take a deep breath. Work on your perspective and keep moving forward. You just may have to go a different direction. Okay. Here's what I talked about a couple episodes ago. Label negative feelings. Label negative feelings. So what this means is if I'm feeling, if my wife is constantly kind of rude and sarcastic to me, how do I feel when she does that? So when you talk to me that way, it's very demeaning. I feel emasculated. I feel like you don't really respect me. Oh no, I respect you. No, I believe you do actually, but I'm telling you that it's a little sensitive for me because when you talk like that, label it. I feel this way. It kind of gives it puts it in its place and kind of what it is or what it isn't, and just verbalizing that can start a healing power. And it also can help, if we're talking about your wife, it also helps her see, oh, I got to be careful with my words. Like, I'm not trying to tear him down. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. I think I have been disrespectful. And now I get it. Now I see it. Wow, he articulated that. Wow. And not in an attacking way, but he opened himself up and said it. Okay. Make decisions that feel good. Yes, like decisions that feel good. Like, here's what we're going to do. Here's the traditions we're going to start in our family. Here's how I'm going to date individually my children and create one-on-one time with them. I want to be with my wife. I want to have more time with her. Well, I'm going to make decisions that echo that. I'm not going to let things stop me. Because this is who I am as a man. This is who I am as a husband, as a father. I'm intentional with what I do. What I do actually matters. And I'm not going to make excuses for not doing what I should be doing. Do things in person. So much of life is on phones and the way we communicate. Face to face. Look at someone. Talk to someone. Have those types of interactions. Don't just always have, a phone call or a text. Like, let's sit face to face and talk. You know what increases happiness? Spend money on people. Bless people with your finances, with whatever your level of riches are. Spend it on them in strategic, wise, caring, loving way. I just, I saw this. I was thinking about you, and I wanted to do this for you. Wow. You can really bless people from that. It's not that they need your money or gifts or whatever you're wanting to do, but it's just showing that money is a valuable resource. We know this. It's not out there in infinite supplies, and I choose to bless you with that. I don't care if you like gifts or not like gifts or whatever your thoughts on all that. It can be very meaningful, very powerful. Okay, let's go to the next part again. The problem that we're solving, fixing unhappy people. We know we ultimately. We ultimately can't fix someone, but it's a play on words to understand that there's a path that can be fulfilling to ourselves. When you live your life, I'll use a sex analogy. Like, the way a man penetrates a woman is the way that you need to penetrate people in your life in terms of showing them love and affection. You need to be very, very strong with what you decide to put your resources into with the people that you love and care about, whether that's your parents or whatever that is. Now, it's a weird example because you're still stuck back on the penetration part of it. I understand it's just how it works, but that's the point. The point is that it's an intentional act. That hopefully that's what somebody you love and care about. But people that are happy people are intentional with the people that they love in that same way. Don't learn to take some criticism. Friends that criticize you, hopefully they're doing it out of love and they care about you. Quit being so defensive. Don't quit letting your feelings you're in control of your feelings. Learn how to take that and say, you know what? I'm wanting to have an accurate view of myself. I want to know what how people view me. Okay, well then you're going to take some criticism, and your true friends will give you a little bit. Hey, I think you're a little off here. Hey, think about this. They're not doing it to hurt you. They're doing it to help you. So quit being a little, you know what, and take the criticism. Last point, if you don't know your purpose, figure it out right now. People that are happy live within a purpose of their life. They know their passions. They know their gifts. They know what they care about. So live like that. Then do something about it. Quit putting it off. Quit not doing anything about it. Unhappy people don't have a plan. They don't see the purpose. As a matter of fact, unhappy people see their lives as just a collection of unfortunate events that keep happening. Guess what actually provides when you see, I'm helping here. I'm doing this. Start with just a couple people. Change your lives. You have the ability to impact. And when we impact people, we feel good about ourselves. We're like, I love that I was able to do that. And we all have different ways to do this. Things that you're good at, I suck at. Like, we all have this, but you have to do something about it. You better know what that is. And if you don't know, that is your number one priority over anything else that's going on in your life. You need to know what that is. Okay, let's get to the quote, the parenting advice, etc. When I was thinking about the parenting advice for this one and just kind of the topic about unhappiness, my mind went to one of my favorite movies, It's a Wonderful Life. And obviously, as you guys know, that Mr. George Bailey didn't feel too great about himself and his life. He felt like he would be better off dead. And so he was going through the process of taking his own life because he just felt like what he was bringing to the table. Now, he was shown the true value of his life. He was shown all the different ways that he impacted and touched people. And then it transformed him into a feeling of peace and contentment and happiness. What we need to do as parents for our kids is show them what they may not see. Do you know how you, Johnny, have impacted and affected my life? You have made me a better person. They're like, what do you mean, Dad? Have those conversations with them. Give them an accurate mirror to look into about their life. Speak into them in this way. It's powerful, and we all need it. Like, we all want to feel like we're doing something important, like we're impacting people. It's very sad when we don't think that we are. Okay, the song today is a song by a band named Reliant K called Forward Motion. Okay, and one of the lines that's in the song is, we all struggle with forward motion. Okay, now why I chose this song. When you are at places of peace and happiness in your life, it is easier to keep moving forward even when obstacles come your way and stop you. It's hard to have forward motion when you're in a place of despair or sadness and not really seeing even the true value of your life and even what your purpose is. So I love the song. It's a great song, but it is simply about moving forward regardless of the obstacles that are going to come your way. The quote, your unhappiness is directly related to how far away you're living from your purpose. If this is your purpose and your life isn't about doing any of this stuff, then these are just things that are fun for a season. But there's not significance attached to this. Happiness that can be maintained over the course of time, it means that behaviors and decisions you're making in your life are connected to your purpose. When it's connected to your purpose, the ups and downs are going to happen, but there's a steadiness about how we behave and how we look, and that's really important. So thank you, folks, for tuning in today to episode 34. I hope something about this will cause you to look at your own life and your life as a parent and really, really try to put together a plan, because we can all be doing things that can bring us more joy and more happiness. And a lot of times it's just how we give of ourselves, not what we receive. So anyway, have a miraculous day. Have a wonderful day. Keep subscribing to YouTube. The clicks are going up, and I appreciate that. Pass the word. Do all those things. Thank you so much. Episode 35. Guests are around the corner, so you're going to meet some new folks around this country, and I can't wait for that part of this show. My name is Ben Keech. This has been The Ben Keech Show. Signing off until next time. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. Let's keep the conversation going. You can reach out on Ben's website, www.TheBenKeechShow.com, or on social media to chat. And please remember to subscribe so that you never miss an episode.